Alright, I'm going to pull this carrot that I planted here in the spring and we just left. Honestly, this is probably the biggest carrot I've ever grown in my whole life. Okay, number 2. Oh, see?
Ah, yeah, that's more like it.
I'm used to these size carrots.
That's what I thought to it.
Used to this. But I've got this, and it looks edible. So, I'm going to go taste this later. So I just got a load of compost in, and I guess I will just bring you along to show you what I'm going to do with it. This right here is the compost pile we brought home. This is mushroom compost, and we are taking it to the top gardens to top off the beds that we had made this year and to start my new onion plot that I will plant onions in the spring. I've got my garlic all nestled in right here in this bed, ready to go for the springtime, hopefully, if everything goes well. And so over here, behind this compost bin, you can see I've got, this is drainage here, and then it runs this way, which we need to dig this out again. We need to dig this out again too, but it's not as in dire of a need right now. But on the other side of this little runoff area, I'm going to put my onions all along this way. Just a little strip. So it'll probably be, what, about
2.5, 3 feet.
About 3 feet wide. And it'll come probably down to here somewhere, I would say. So probably about 15, 20 feet.
I'm not going to call it a pro tip, but an amateur tip. These big sheets of cardboard come from Lowe's. They get them in packaged appliances, and went down there and just asked them if they had cardboard I could have, and they gave me a whole stack of this.
So first we're going to lay this First we're going to lay the cardboard down. Yeah, I'd say another sheet about that length will probably do it, wouldn't you?
I would say so.
Alright. Put some overlap on your board. So there's the other beds. There's the garlic. You can kind of see going this way on the outside of the fence behind the compost bin. And this is our onion bed. Alright, now we're just going to cover this with compost. And then, like everything else, we will cover it with a mound of hay. I'm really excited about seeing this onion bed because it's the first time ever that my onion bed is going to be built before my onions arrive or before my onions are grown. I don't know if I'm going to buy them or grow them this year. But either way, it's the first time that my bed has been ready beforehand, and that's exciting to me. Alright. This right here is where the onions are going to go, and just so you see it, where it is, my garlic is right here. This will be onions. Garlic already tucked in. The reason my garlic and onion beds are out here and not behind my fence is because generally the deer and the rabbit and the other small furry critters tend not to eat my garlic or my onions, so I don't want to take up valuable real estate behind the fence and plant things that don't need protected there, because I really need to save this area, or the areas that are surrounded, for things that need protection and can't be planted outside. Now, my onion bed up here has all these beautiful stones around it, creating this stone border, and we literally just went and picked them off the surface. Let me just give you an example of what I'm talking about. You could pick up so much stone here without even having to dig. You may be asking, if you've got so much stone, how come all of your beds aren't surrounded in beautiful stone borders? Honestly, It's because it's all uphill and it's heavy to carry. Who wants to carry stone uphill, or even for that matter downhill? Stone is heavy, and to move it from one place to another, it takes a lot of energy. So one day it might be all covered in stone, but for now, it is what it is. This is another thing I'm excited about. These beds will be ready to go next planting season, and I won't have to build them as I'm needing to plant out, which I'm sure I'll have a little bit of that, but this one will be complete, and that's another exciting thing. We've got the whole thing covered with peanut shell. Now, I don't want to take credit for this. I am not the one that did this. I had no hand in it. It was just the inspiration.
It was a labor of love.
Now, you might see these ones here that we didn't put fresh down, and this row here where we didn't put fresh down. But these got a nice thick layer of mushroom compost in the spring, and that area didn't have it. This area really didn't have any.
Highland Nursery in Buchanan, if you're in this area, is where we got our mushroom compost. The price is very reasonable and the quality is top notch. The people there are extremely nice. So if you're in the Buchanan, Elkins, Weston area of West Virginia, North Central West Virginia, and you need compost, Highland Nursery is definitely where I would suggest. We
ran out of mushroom compost before we were able to finish up here. That already have mushroom compost down and have had it since spring. They were already built up several inches higher than the rest of the bed, so we wanted to make those more even. And all the beds, even the ones we just laid compost down in, will be amended in the spring with the rains. I get this organic time release fertilizer. I'll show you when it's the time, but I will cover the whole beds up here with that, and probably a little blood meal, honestly. But for now, I'm just going to cover them with hay and put this area to bed for the winter. When we were done with this bed this year, when the tomatoes were done, you can still see there's some on the ground. We just chopped them down and left them in place, and that'll be covered with hay, and it will break down and decompose and feed the soil over the winter. Now, honestly, we'll probably get some volunteer tomato plants, but that's par for the course anyways, so I guess that's nothing different. Alright guys, I know this was a short video. I will talk to you on the next project. I'm sure there's a lot of these little ones coming up, and I hope to bring you along.